Well, April's blaze at the Charlotte Maxeke hospital in Johannesburg meant that several cancer patients had to scramble for crucial treatment elsewhere amid a third wave surge in Gauteng. Well, with that facility's critical oncology unit shut for the past 2 months, patients were diverted to Chris Hani Baragwanath. There, though, patients reportedly suffered long queues and worsening backlogs. Now, activists tell us that they are very happy to hear that Charlotte Maxeke's oncology unit will finally reopen this coming Monday morning. One of them is Salome Meyer from the non-profit group Cancer Alliance, and she chats to us live now. Salome, thank you so much for joining us. It's good news, but what did this closure mean for cancer patients these past few weeks? Give us an idea of what it's been like trying to get your chemo and radiation.
Good morning to you, Annika, and to all the viewers. Well, I think for any cancer patient, a cancer diagnosis is, in fact, terrible. But with the first of all, with COVID, and then secondly, with the fire, it actually became even worse. Because all that happened now is that your treatment is now delayed. And we know that with cancer, if your treatment is delayed, that your impact of treatment actually then is worsened. Meaning that the longer that you delay your treatment, the chances is that you're going to have a recurrence. And in fact, we've actually seen those figures that there are many cancer patients that actually have come back with recurrences. So that in itself is a desperate impact of the fire, but also not only the fire, we also know that there was a backlog of more than 1,000 for radiation oncology.
What's needed now to bridge that current backlog of, as you say, 1,000 who need that radiology and chemo treatment?
Specifically for the radiation oncology, what is really needed there is new equipment. So 2 small linacs to go into the cobalt bunker is what is required with the associated staff. That means the radiation oncologist that should go with the staff for treatment is absolutely desperately needed, as well as brachytherapy machines, and that would be used specifically for the treatment of prostate cancer and cervical cancer patients, and that's where the backlogs are. If those machines can be acquired with the associated staff, there's a good chance that the backlog can be diminished. And I must just say that yes, there was the announcement that the unit is going to open. But we must please just understand that it's not going to be at full steam. It's going to take that unit at least another 2 months to come back to full steam operation again. There's many other issues that's also plaguing us. We need to actually just hope that there's no more Eskom power outages in Johannesburg, because that as well impacts the service delivery. That's just radiation oncology. For medical oncology, yes, there was the announcement that it's going to open up, but it's actually very doubtful whether they can move back into the radiation, the chemotherapy rooms. There's 32 chemo chairs at Charlotte Maxeke. Currently, all those patients are diverted to Chris Hani Baragwanath, and there's only 15 chemo chairs. So what happens is that again there's a backlog that's being built up. So it's going to take, quite honestly, a long time for the backlogs in both chemo and radiation therapy to actually be erased.
So it sounds like, Salome, it sounds like on Monday they're not going to be people necessarily getting the treatment that they're hoping for. That's going to take some time for the staff to settle in and for the equipment to become up and running.
Well, I've got it on good authority that at least they can start next week with radiation oncology. We're starting with 10 patients. We need to also look at how they manage the patients that have been diverted to Steve Biko, because you can't now all of a sudden withdraw the staff that has been diverted to Steve Biko. You can't immediately withdraw them. So the radiation oncology head has actually worked out a plan of how to systematically bring the service back onto track, and that's going to take time. I do want to say, that we have made the statement, and before that, with Life Esidimeni, we were able to actually count the people that were affected, and we were actually able to specifically say, these are the people that we can hold accountable. With this, we have got more than 1,000 patients that are affected. There's many patients that have been sent home. We don't know what's going to happen to them. We don't know whether they are going to be alive, in fact, when they are recalled for treatment, whenever that happens. And nobody is going to know who we can hold accountable for that. And we need to make sure that
sorry, Salome, I'm going to have to wrap up. But as you say, at least you could launch some sort of class action with Life Esidimeni, and you could track mortality rates. But with this, you're looking at advancing rates of cancer and degrees of cancer, and you don't actually know exactly where to point a finger. It's very tricky. Thank you so much, Salome Meyer, for highlighting some of the difficulties that cancer patients have been experiencing since the closure of Charlotte Maxeke after that fire. Salome is from the group Cancer Alliance. Thank you for your time this morning.